Alright, time for a new month and a new slew of games with a new set of decks. We're going to be doing weird banner decks this month, and we're starting with Baratheon Banner of the Watch. Obviously, the temptation with this faction and banner combo is to go for the 6 cost Solis that kneels the whole board with dominance stuff and maybe the core set wall. And then you can lame people out with like Craven and Mutiny and the Haunted Forest and things like that. And the 6 cost Elise goes pretty well with Mutiny because she protects Melisandre or whoever else from having to be sacrificed for Mutiny, and sacking her with the event means you can just play another copy of her on a later turn. But that's very lame, so we're not doing that. I think I literally I saw someone post a version of this deck. I saw someone post a Banner Watch Baratheon deck, and they literally had 30 locations. It was just like every lame location, like Isle of Ravens, Flea Bottom Veteran Builder was in there, the Wall, the Haunted Forest, just everything you could imagine. And it just looks so miserable to play or play against, so I'm not going to do that. This is a mid-range deck. We're just going to try to win some power challenges or something. One thing that I thought the Banner Watch could do for Baratheon is maybe shore up the weakness of the big characters in the faction. Baratheon only has the one like really big centerpiece character who can carry the game for you, and Robert is still pretty good, but he's only one character. It's not like Greyjoy, or I mean even Lannister has more like strong big characters that can sort of win if they get out there and can, do their thing. Baratheon really suffers in this regard. Like the King Stannis is mostly just used because there's literally nothing better and he enables the king plot. He doesn't even have renown. He doesn't have any printed keywords. His ability is inconsistent. You have to win dominance, and it can only target non-loyals. So a lot of the characters that you would want to use it on, they're loyal anyways, and they're immune. So he's just not that good. Instead, we're using this big Jon Snow. He helps shore up the weakness on military and intrigue, which, Baratheon, you're decent at power challenges, but you're usually not great at the other two. This guy helps a lot with that. We've also got Qhorin Halfhand. He's pretty decent. 6 cost, 5 renown, and an ability that the opponent probably never wants to see trigger if there's anything on the board that it can target. Then I was like, since I'm using Night's Watch, let's also use Maester Aemon. He can help with another weakness of the faction, which is board attrition. The low end of Baratheon is pretty bad. They don't have a lot of good claim soak. So over time, like you can just get worn down by military challenges. Maester Aemon can help with that. And then I was like, well, I have Aemon. I guess we're using Valar Morghulis. So I've got stuff to try and leverage Valar Morghulis, Bodyguard, Spears, Beric, and Thoros, who are also R'hllor characters for Melisandre or whatever. And I figured I could also use this card, which is my sort of personal dank meme for Banner Watch decks. This is a card that goes with Valar Morghulis. You choose a character on your side that is not going to be saved from the Valar, and they leave play for a turn, dodging the reset. Is it actually good? Probably not, but I think it's not terrible. I've gotten good use out of it in one game so far, so we're going to give it a shot. You can also theoretically use it to dodge the opponent's reset. That's probably not nearly as good or consistent, but if you know they're going to march your Robert or something, you can potentially save him from that, even though you will also not have him in play for a turn. But having him out of play for one turn is better than having him out of play permanently if he gets marched, I guess. This can also function as attachment removal if you really need it to. That's also obviously not ideal, but like it can get milk off of Melisandre if you need it to. Just one thing to keep in mind, never use it with Beric Dondarrion, because I'm pretty sure Beric will lose all his tokens and be a 0 strength character if you do that. So you'd feel pretty dumb if you did that. And let me think here. We've got these cheap guys to go with Queensmen, and again to help shore up sort of the low end. Spareboot is a Maester Crescent who costs 1 less, does not kneel himself, and also activates Queensmen, so that's good. 1 gold Intrigue icons with a sometimes relevance ability, pretty decent. Sort of the same logic with Sworn Brother. It's only a 2 gold character, and we have 12 locations that cost 1 or more, so he can function as economy a fairly often amounts of the time. Not unreasonable, I would say. Then we've got some typical, decent Baratheon dudes. Got Dolores Ed because there's no faction kneels in the deck, so why not? He's nice to have around. So yeah, and the plot deck, also fairly typical. We've got Here to Serve, which can either fetch Aemon or Crescent. You can also use this when you know the opponent is going to Valar to save like Jon Snow or Corrin, with Aemon coming into play. We've got Trade Routes. Summer Harvest is the opener. And I've had my typical luck. Originally I was using Peace and Prosperity, and it just didn't seem great. It's like you can probably get 6 gold out of it most of the time, but it's just kind of awkward. So I decided to try Summer Harvest instead. I've tried to record 3 games today. The first 2 were Summer Harvest into Summer Harvest, and extremely one-sided. The first one in my favor, the other in the opponent's, so not worth showing. And then I tried to record a game just now where I opened Summer Harvest and the opponent opened Counting Coppers. And that's like the only time I've seen that in, I don't know, like months at least. It used to be not totally uncommon when Martell was more popular, but definitely haven't seen that anytime recently. And then his second plot was trading with the Pentoshi into my Varys' Riddle. And that game was also extremely one-sided in the opponent's favor and not worth showing. But yeah, this is theoretically good as long as you don't run into Counting Coppers or the opponent's also having Summer Harvest. And honestly, the opponent also having Summer Harvest is playable. Like, it's not like that's terrible for you, right? Because you're both starting with only 2 gold. It's not giving the opponent a huge advantage. It's just, in one of those games, the opponent was Targaryen, and they set up the 6-cost Drogon, so they won that game. So hopefully we can finally, I mean, if I just keep playing, eventually the law of averages, I'm going to have to high roll and stop getting screwed by this. And the rest of the plots, yeah, Varys' Riddle is the 7th one. Originally this was a noble cause, but I realized I only have 5 Lord and Lady cards in the deck, and 3 of them are only one-ofs. So I was like, it's not really as consistent as I would like it to be. So I decided to try Varys' Riddle instead. I sort of went down the list, and this seemed the most reasonable. It still has pretty good stats, even if it doesn't go off. You just have to, you know, again, my luck, as soon as I put this in my deck, the first time I reveal it, the opponent's plot is trading with the Pentoshi, and not trade routes. And it was a totally reasonable, like, trade routes turn. There was already, like, 6 locations on board. So, you know, ideally this can copy trade routes, but not if you're me, apparently. So let's stop complaining and get into a game, and maybe I'll finally get one worth showing here. Maybe I'll finally get one worth showing. Greyjoy likes to use big gold opening plots, right? I think I am going to set up the Ashai Priestess, slightly more gold efficient, even though the ability cannot be used this way. Please no Summer Harvest. Sneak attack, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense because you have the Seastone Chair, which replaces your 2 claim that you're trying to apply. That's just strange, but okay. It's definitely not Summer Harvest or Counting Coppers, so I'm fine with that, I guess. I have Melisandre to kneel this guy. I have some cheap guys. Maybe I can eat 2 military claim if I need to. I also just have a 5-strength military icon on my side, so hopefully he will not marshal anything that can get past the Bastard on attack after I kneel Euron, but he has an Iron Fleet scout and he's going first, so very possible that he will have something. Yep, and there it is. Too bad I set up the Ashai Priestess instead of the Queen's Men. Could have, you know, had a kneel on that. think I kind of misplayed by not playing my Swarm Brother first, right? I was supposed to go Steward at the wall, 7 gold left, kneel the Steward, Marshal the Swarm Brother, 6 gold left. Yeah, I was definitely supposed to do that. Oops. Maybe it's still good enough. Drown God Fanatic? No Drown God Fanatic, okay. So these dudes are going to get killed. Oh no, Melisandre's going to get killed because of the Sea Stone Chair. That's too bad. That's a damn shame. Let's try and pick that Drown God Fanatic out of his hand. Oh. The Kraken's Grasp? I mean, these are all bad, right? I guess Littlefinger. So he has We Do Not Sow and the Kraken's Grasp. Something to keep in mind, I suppose. Probably lose this game because of Sea Stone Chair and Theon. And of course I don't draw any saves. You know, why would I ever actually draw what I need? Really? Well, that was a misplay. I guess I'm grateful for that. He definitely should have killed Melisandre. But I guess it makes sense because it's not like he can't just keep doing it every turn. Darn. I guess I should have attacked with Melisandre there. Chooses his Alanis for claim. Keeping Val Armagulis in mind. Interesting. I guess I'm going to go for Varys' Riddle. Not going to use that. Maester Aemon with Here to Serve is not actually good because of the Sea Stone Chair. Although I think I actually can. No, I can't defend because he has that damn Kraken's Grasp. Now let's just go for Varys' Riddle. See what happens. No trading with the Pentoshi, please. I swear. It would make no sense for him to do that. I discarded the only expensive card in his hand with Scene in Flames. Oh, goodness. Pretty high initiative. Okay. I guess he was doing that only for the initiative, so looks like we got him. Hey, Robert. That's definitely a character I wanted to see. Unfortunately, can't pay for Robert and Melisandre Neal, but oh well. Now what do I do? City Gates? Sure, why not? No milk, please. Surely he didn't top deck a milk. That would make me sad. The game plan here is probably like just intrigue challenge with the Ashai Priestess and then military with Robert. Because I don't think Euron can defend by himself, even with the Iron Fleet Scout. As long as one other character is kneeling. Robert will go up to 7. So there's actually, because he has the Kraken's Grasp, there's no way to block the Seastone Chair. Because Robert can't, because he can just attack with Theon if I don't attack with Robert. And like if Robert attacks and intimidates Theon, then Euron can attack and he can use the Kraken's Grasp on the Bastard of Night Song. So I think Robert is guaranteed to die to the Seastone Chair. That's unfortunate. I would be in a pretty decent spot if it were not for that fact. So definitely a shame. Maybe he'll let me have this and I'll discard Kraken's Grasp. That'd be funny. Although that still wouldn't really be good enough because the throwing axe would actually make it like a bad idea to defend with the Bastard against Euron. Oh, goodness. Ugh. Come on, dude. Just say unopposed. This isn't that hard. Really? Okay, then. I don't agree with that at all. Because now I'm going to intimidate Theon. Maybe he has nightmares and I'll feel like a chomp. But we have to go for it. So let's go for it. If this actually goes through and intimidates Theon, then this guy has totally misplayed. He didn't defend it either. I don't know what this guy's doing. The shipwright will not be able to win an intrigue against Melisandre, so there's no reason to protect it from the intimidate by not defending. Let's see what he does with his claim. Maybe, okay, uses the duplicate. Get down, boy. On your knees. Kneel, you shit. Then, do I do a power here? So if I do a power here, then he does intrigue and I defend and he wins dominance and gets one. If I don't do a power, I win dominance. I guess I want to... if I do this and then he wins dominance, he'll have 1 on his house card going into the next round. So it gives me something to potentially steal with my power challenges. Could be worth it. Now he's going to feel really dumb if this coming round I discard that Kraken's Grasp out of his hand with Queensmen. He's going to feel like a chump. Using that duplicate on Theon tells me he's not planning to do Valar Morghulis, so I'll save these journeys until later turns. My next plot is like Forced March 100%. That may be able to cement a victory for me in this game. I think our opponent completely blew it. Could have killed Melisandre first turn, could have killed Robert that turn. And just did not make the correct decisions in my opinion. Filthy accusations. That's a little bit weird. Well, I'm going to be first player. I don't think it really matters what order I do these in. Because he's always going to target Robert with the filthy. Actually, probably should have made him first player, so if he marshals another military icon, Melisandre could kneel it with the Queensmen. I think that might have actually been a bit of a misplay on my part. So we're going to not trigger it again and use Melisandre to kneel Theon. And this way we keep one of our large military power characters standing. Of course I drew the freaking Shy Priestess. I guess this is actually worked out. I mean, this is probably better, right? Just kneel both his dudes. And I don't have any Nice Watch characters to use with the Queensmen, so we're not going to marshal those. I think I like Spare Boot. Why not? I've committed a lot to the board, but I think I'm okay with that. I don't think it's in his favor to play a reset. Spare Boot keeps me safe from any random milks coming down. Does not marshal anything. Fuck. Okay. I'll just do it manually. Sorry for the dead air here, but we have to wait for the opponent to marshal manually. There we go. Alright, he only has 3 cards in hand, so I have a reasonable chance to get that Kraken's Grasp with Intrigue. Let's go for it. Well, that's still pretty good to get. Well, because I misplayed and made myself first player, yeah, let's just do this. No, that's not correct. We're supposed to do military with that guy. Not going to bother trying to defend with him because I know he still has Kraken's Grasp. It's not in his discard, right? Yeah, he has it. So if I had made the opponent first player, what could have happened there is I could have knelt the Bastard for my Force March and make both his dudes kneel, and then Melisandre kneels this Drowned Man. And then he would have no military icons to kill anything with the Sea Stone Chair. But because I misplayed, he'll probably kill Robert pretty bad. Then I'll just do a power challenge with Spare Boot. I don't expect him to defend it, and if he does defend it, then like I'm really happy with that, so I don't feel any need to use any more strength. One thing that I can do, because I got that Risen out of his hand, I could actually go double Journey from Old Town and save like Melisandre and Bastard and then do Valar Morghulis. It's actually kind of appealing. It would definitely be a dank meme. Let's see what our other plot options are. We may want to do Here to Serve before we do that to get Maester Aemon into play. But we also may want to do it immediately because if we wait another turn, we're risking another character getting murdered by the Sea Stone Chair. And he should be pretty out of like cards at this point. Yeah, this last card is a Kraken's Grasp, so I think I'm going to go for that. Also gets rid of Euron before he can steal my Great Hall. I wonder if he disabled his own Sea Stone Chair on one of those earlier turns from kneeling his faction card with fealty. I don't remember, and I'm too lazy to go back and look, but that'd be pretty funny if that was actually what happened. Alright, let's go for the meme. We're going to do it, Reddit. Just see what happens. Probably pausing to like read that event. Let's hope we top deck, I don't know, more characters. We're going to have 5 gold, so we can marshal these Queensmen, but we do have to worry that he'll top deck a military icon and kill them. Oh, that feels bad. That's unfortunate. So he's going to have 4 gold. So there's a reasonable chance that he'll top deck something good and not be able to play it due to only having 4 gold. He got back into his hand a Little Bird and a Throwing Axe. Nice combo, thank you. Hell yeah, that's what I want to see. Gives us a really good trade routes next turn. I get to see what he marshals, so... Like, what military icons of 4 gold or less is Greyjoy even likely to have? We just killed one of the most likely. Yep, can't marshal anything. Well, should be able to win the game now. He's not saying that it was a mistake again, so I'm going to assume he legitimately didn't draw characters, or they're too expensive if he drew them. Oh, goodness. I guess I'm going to marshal Dolores Ed. Yeah, let's just do it. Power counters are 10 to 1, so I'm going to go for the unopposed power and let him win dominance. Plus, we have the Bastard of Night Song coming back into play next turn, so then there will be 2 power, and the Bastard's ability will actually be relevant. I'm definitely glad that I did not show the earlier games that I tried to record today, which were all sort of boring blowouts, and just kept chugging along until I got to this game, because we got to show the double Journey from Old Town. It's like a double dank meme, and it actually like won us the game. It's pretty hilarious. I mean, imagine how much more of a chance he would have if I didn't have these 2 characters coming back into play next turn on top of trade routes. He'd have a way better chance, but I don't think he has much of a chance now. Because his problem is, let's say he does trade routes, maybe he can marshal 1 big character. That's not really enough because he's just like out of cards, out of characters to actually marshal. And if he does counting coppers, he'll only be on 4 gold again, which is also not enough. Look at that. Look at that. Of course, now he can do Valar Morghulis if he wants. No, that's fine. Definitely not bothered by that. That makes sense because he's clearly running like an aggro deck that's trying to kill stuff, so March makes sense. He should not put himself first player because now Melisandre can kneel stuff. If he made me first, then I would only be able to use Melisandre's kneel with Scene in Flames. But yeah, like if he had flipped his own Valar there, he still would not be in a great spot because he'd be on 4 gold. And I'd be bringing out Corin Halfhand and at least 1 more character. So he'd probably still be dead. And he's only on 6 gold this turn, so odds are that whatever character he marshals will just get kneeled and then I win. Get memed on. Friggin' Journey to Old Town. Yeah, it's game. Journey to Old Town, OP. Just give him a concede. He had a kind of cool deck, but I think he misplayed pretty hard those first 2 turns, missing out on the kills with Seastone Share. Definitely think he could have won if he had done that. But I'm happy that he misplayed because we got to show the meme. Journey to Old Town. Now I want to write like a fan fiction of Melisandre and the Bastard of Night Song actually taking a journey from Storm's End to Old Town. Be like an epic Game of Thrones side story. You know, that I think that would be pretty funny. Maybe they like fall in love with each other and then Melisandre like marries the Bastard of Night Song. And then they could like have a kid that takes over the kingdom and shit. Like their kid turns out to be Azor Ahai, not whoever it is that she said, I guess Stannis. Ignore the fact that she's actually like 400 years old. Let's pretend she's actually as old as she looks. You know, I guess you have to be a little bit deep into the lore of Game of Thrones to know that stuff, but you guys that are actually watching these videos probably are pretty deep into the lore. Alright, enough of me cracking out on my weird, you know, fantasy ideas. Let's just end the video.